Hello, welcome to the Weather Hazard Briefing presented by National Weather Service Pocatello for Monday, the last day of June 2025. Here's what you'll see in this presentation. The high pressure over the Great Basin is peaking today and Tuesday for southern Idaho. So this means a warming trend through Tuesday with some strong warming compared to yesterday today. We're looking for the humidity to start dipping below 15% in a lot of locations. However, we're looking at calm winds, especially compared to, say, Saturday. And then starting on Tuesday, probably in the afternoon, we're looking for some unstable moist air to start moving in from the south. This is normally known as a monsoonal push. This is remnants of the southwest monsoon moving far enough north where it brings in some unstable moist air, which leads to a chance of thunderstorms this time of year. On Tuesday, it'll be mostly the central Idaho mountains, and then it will spread to the east and south for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the way through Sunday afternoon. So we'll take a look at all of this, see how it evolves. First of all, here's our satellite images from this morning. You can see how absolutely clear the skies are, with the exception of the California and Oregon coast and Washington coast, where those light blue clouds actually are fog and stratus down low. Here's our weather risk outlook. So for today, it's mostly low relative humidities. A number of areas getting below 15%. About the only places that sort of escape that are the higher elevations of the Wood River area and the Sawtooths. Then on Tuesday, like I said, it starts to move in, mostly in the central Idaho mountains, as you can see here, eastern highlands as well, a little bit. Lost River, Wood River, Sawtooth, Lemhi County, all that way. Meanwhile, we'll still be dealing with heat issues in the Snake River Plain, eastern Magic Valley, and the southern hills. And we'll still have some low relative humidity there. While humidity, when these monsoonal pushes come, usually it's in the elevations above 10,000 feet in the atmosphere, where it moistens up first with some cloud cover, and it takes a while for that humidity to work down to the surface. On Wednesday, we do lose a lot of this low relative humidity, and you start seeing the slight chance of thunderstorms kicking in, where the chance of thunderstorms, which is basically 25% or higher, up to about 55%, is in yellow, and where it's green, that's just a slight chance, which means it's below 25%, but more than 15. So you can see the chance thunderstorms areas expand, and all the way down to Friday, July 4th. Looks like in the afternoon, most places will be at risk for thunderstorms, with the Magic Valley just having a slight chance. I will say this, Friday evening, that does drop at least a little bit for some areas to slight chance. The further north you go, the greater the chance will actually be remaining behind after 6 p.m. So it may not be a total washout for fireworks displays. All right, so here's what's doing it. You can see here that this is an incorrect slide. I'm not sure how that got in there. But here's a probability of thunderstorms for today. So you can see it's just 5 to 10% along the border here. So that still wouldn't mean any sort of mention in the forecast for today. But everywhere else it's essentially zero. And here are the winds, very light under high pressure. That's pretty typical, with the maximum gust here around 18 to maybe 20 miles an hour. And here are the high temperatures for today. So we're starting to see some 90s break out here on this Monday. And you can see a lot of areas getting to 13 to 15% relative humidity, especially here in the Arco Desert and over craters of the moon, for instance. And then down here along the border with Utah, and then in the Chalice Basin as well. And then overnight tonight, this is also a warming trend in most of these. Pocatello should actually stay above 60 degrees. And look what that does to the humidity. Just really poor humidity recovery at night, which means that grasses and and fuels for wildfire will actually continue to dry during the overnight hours. See, that's especially true here in central Idaho and here in the southern border. All right, and then here's Tuesday, July 1st. The reason why we're getting the thunderstorms returning, you can see all these lows lining up here in the Pacific Northwest and the Southern Great Basin. All the highs here over the just east of the Northern Rockies all the way down the Front Range. And so in between we have a lot of southerly airflow, and that is just bringing up moisture from the Gulf of California through Arizona, Utah, and finally into Idaho. And that's why we have showers and thunderstorms, and this pattern will be fairly stagnant through the holiday weekend. So thunderstorms won't be going anywhere. It's unstable air, and so that means as the temperatures cool at night, the thunderstorms go away, but they come back the next afternoon. The gusts on Tuesday, these are slightly higher. You see a lot more 17 to 20 miles an hour. And then the probability of thunderstorms does start to increase. Here on Tuesday, you can see the main focus is up here in the central Idaho mountains. But there are slight chances even in the eastern highlands and down here in this portion of the southern highlands. And this is the kind of precipitation, though. It is widespread. If it falls at all, it'll be less than 1/10 of an inch. And then here's the high temperature on Tuesday. You can see it's getting really hot. Pocatello, 98 degrees. Twin Falls, 99. Look over at Glens Ferry, 105. There's already heat advisories issued for the Treasure Valley and the western parts of the Magic Valley. But you can see we're kind of borderline here. We'll see here in the next couple of days what we may have to do here. And you can still see there is widespread areas of relative humidity staying below 15%, but it's mostly in the lower elevations. And then overnight lows Tuesday night continue to stay fairly mild. In fact, it's even milder than the night before. Pocatello at 65. And you can see the humid air starting to move in. We have better recoveries, especially in the eastern Magic Valley. And there's been some improvement in the central Idaho mountains. It's not great, but there are still some areas where it's fairly poor recovery. One place that really isn't recovering yet is in our southern foothills. Okay, and then finally on Wednesday here, you can see showers and thunderstorms everywhere. And so you can see here about the only real holdout. I mean, there is a 5 to 10% down here in the eastern Magic Valley, but everywhere else it's at least a slight chance. Some places a chance. You can see the precipitation again, very similar. If we get any, it'll still be below 1/10 of an inch, which means it's not a wetting rain. So we could consider these dry thunderstorms. You can see the gusts here on Wednesday. They are also increasing. We're starting to get more gusts above 20 miles an hour, and these are outside of thunderstorms. If we do get gusts in a thunderstorm or from a thunderstorm, we're probably looking at gusts upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour by Wednesday. Here are the high temperatures for Wednesday. You can see we're starting a cooling trend because of the cloud cover mostly. And with the increased humidity now in the afternoon here, you can see very few places actually getting below 15%. Is mostly limited to the Arco Desert. And then Wednesday overnight, you can see temperatures are actually starting to go back down and cooling. You can see improved humidity recovery even down here in the southern foothills. And just to look at to the 4th of July holiday, this is on Friday, the 4th of July is, and you can see pretty good chances of thunderstorms. Just a slight chance here in the eastern Magic Valley, all the way up to like Blackfoot in the Snake River Plain. Most other locations, though, it's a solid chance. And looks like it could be a total washout here if you're planning to travel to Yellowstone. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can always contact us at this telephone number here, or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.